myself enough credit. And if I go around 5, 6, 10, 20 other people, what do I find? They're like, they either shoot the idea down real quick, and either they're not my tribe, it was a bad idea, blah, 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 or the reality hits that they're like, dude, this is amazing. You should do that. You know what I mean? And I was just going to spend all this time. So I guess what I'm getting at too is like, you know, part of the thing is part of the deal of being alive is like working your ideas out, you know, in public, you know, like making it actually happen. You know, I mean, one of my, when you said like, you know, day to day, you can't distinguish one day from the next, or, you know, you can tell you're getting older, but nothing is really changing. I think to me, that's where the habits are helping me the most right now. You know what I mean? Like, brother, there are so many times I get up. So I have this routine. I wake up, you know, I go use the restroom. I drink water. I kind of check the pulse of outside, and then it's time to feed my dogs, right? Right after I feed my dogs, I work out. And there are so many times, it's, you know, it's like 5:45 a.m. The sun is not coming up yet, you know, and I just don't want to. I don't feel like it, you know, like I'm tired, you know, maybe my head's a little stuffy. The humidity's tough, you know. It's been really hot here in East Texas. I mean, like 100 degrees before sunup. And I just don't want to. And I have had to literally just go, okay, fine. And I find my legs carrying me over to the bike. And I'm on the bike before I can say no. Like I never wanted to. Like, you know what I mean? Like I never felt that, oh man, I'm going to work out and this is going to be great. You know, no, this is my habit. This is what I do. This is who I am. My future self will thank me for what I'm doing today. You know, like I'm going to just go ahead and do it. And I don't know. I mean, 8 out of 10 days, I really don't feel it. But what's crazy is 11 or 12 minutes in, you know, I get off the bike, I start doing my stretches. I do a little bit of light weights, but most of it's just body stuff. So like, you know, like it's crazy, man. People all the time, they're like, well, I don't know what to do in the gym. Here's my thing. Sit down in a chair, a hardback chair, sit down and stand up 50 times. Do that every day for 30 days and tell me you don't lose 20 pounds.
100%.
But like, you don't what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to wear the right clothes. You don't like, you know, like literally just try doing this with your arm 50 times every day. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden you're like,
yeah, you're gonna be bulk as hell. Yeah, exactly. And you're not even gonna realize it. No, I agree with you. That's the same that's happened with me working like all these side jobs and everything like that. Like from just simple stuff. Like I wouldn't go to the gym, but I do simple stuff like moving bricks or moving like big bags of sand or something like that. And you do it repeatedly every day, and you really don't notice that those motions, like little by little, you start looking at yourself and you notice that your body's changing and you're just like evolving so that you can better suit your body to do that task, to do that thing.
Well, and I'm starting to feel better. Like I'm starting to sleep better. You know, I've always had trouble sleeping. And as much as you might hate the you know, or as much as the old me might hate this sentence, I wish I had gotten into therapy sooner, and I wish I had started riding my stationary bike sooner. Like I just, you know, like I'm sleeping so much better, and it's clearing my mind up in a way that I didn't expect. You know, when I started this, it was like, I want to be fit. I want to look better in my clothes. I want to feel better, right? But it's actually mentally, I'm catching things a lot quicker. Someone will say like, "Hey, we're going to this place later. Do you want to go?" And I'm like, "No, I don't. Thanks." And I walk away and I'm like, "Whoa, what?" Like normally I would have thought about that for 3 hours, or my dad texts me and is like, "Hey, do you want to do lunch today?" And I love my dad dearly, but I have a pretty complicated relationship with him. And I just texted him back right away and said, "Hey, I can't do today, but I have an opening on Friday. Do you want to do Friday?" And I didn't even think, and normally that for me, with no sleep, with not eating good, with not working out, with not being, that would have been like a day and a half. How do I respond to him? When he's just like, "Do you want to go to lunch?" And I'm like, "Nah, bro, I can't. Like, I don't have that bandwidth right now."
No, I hear you. It's good though that you're able to do that. Like I tend to do that myself also. I second guess and everything when it's really not even that it's a bad thing or a good thing. Is that I can't say we, but I tend to overthink about what like if I feel kind of messed up or selfish when I want to make that decision of like, yo, not today. And
Mm-hmm.
you feel wrong when you just don't want to explain yourself and you just feel like, yo, just not today. Today's not the day. But
Mm-hmm.
then again, at the same time, when you're doing it with people that you care about, you feel like this obligation of needing to explain yourself or needing to do it. And then so when you get to that point where you're able to be like, you know what, not today, another day, and you're able to do it in a different way or say it in another way, it's good. It goes to show that you're not just setting boundaries or whatever, but you're still able to find a way to give yourself that time, that energy, that space, whatever it is that you need to recharge. But at the same time, you're also not closing that door of
Mm-hmm.
opening communication, of going out and doing something different. Because it's like you said, man, like I think of that all the time where I'm always like, I got to be around people.
Mm-hmm.
I've been alone for way too long. I've
Yeah.
watched the same shit on TV way too many times. I've been listening to the same thing. I'm jumping from one app to another app, and all I'm seeing is the same stuff. Like you just get to a point where you feel like, all right, what am I doing next? Like, what am I gonna do? What's like, and you kind of feel stuck in this loop, and you need something to break that repetitive cycle, that thing to let you know, like, all right, today's not Monday no more, today's Tuesday, or it's not last week, it's not last month. It's you need to do something to break that and let you know, like you're doing something. There's something progressively happening in your life,
Yeah, I'm curious what your thoughts on this are in response to that. So I've noticed that I've never really given myself permission to like things that don't make any sense. Okay, so this is going to be a little weird, and I'm probably a little nervous about saying it out loud, but I'm going to. Um, so I'm going through a lot of personal stuff right now, and one of the things that's causing me to realize is that I need a new vehicle. Okay, so I start looking around for like inexpensive vehicles, and under $10,000. You know how it is when you're hard up for a car. You just like start looking at like what's the most reliable for the cheapest price. Doesn't matter how many miles it has or how old it is. That's what I'm getting. And then I was on Pinterest one night hunting down a particular piece of art because it was in my head and I wanted to apply it to what I was doing. And I saw this off-road vehicle, and I was like, bro, that's badass. Like, I love that. And it like woke up something in me. But for like the next 10 days, I wouldn't let myself look up what kind of vehicle it was. Because I kept going like it's too expensive, right? Like you're about being kind to people, but like you know who you are, like and it took me like actually bringing it up in therapy, like this what I'm telling you right now, I brought up in therapy like a month ago, and I was like, I I think I kind of want to off-road, like I I want to learn more about like SUVs and trucks and like big tires. And like the people in my life are going to hear this and go, that's insane. That's not BenKind, you know, like that's not, no, he doesn't do anything for himself. Right. But that's because I've never given myself permission to.
100%. I know where you're coming from.
Like, it's so weird because I feel like I'm becoming like, I don't want to say like jock. You like we have these perceptions of people that like people that are into baseball are this, and people that are into Dungeons and Dragons are all nerds, and people who, you know, and like this is one of those rare times where I really feel like if Gary were sitting here chopping it up with me and you right now, 100% he would be encouraging me to go for this.
Yeah, so would I. 100%. Because I get where you're coming from. I know what you're talking about. I know that feeling. You don't understand where the impulse is coming from, but at the same time, you're going with the flow of everything. But you're also having these moments where you're catching yourself and you're like, wait, this isn't like, I'm like, where did this come from?
What is my mom gonna say if I roll up next year in a 4Runner with big tires? And she's like, why do you have this? And I'm like, because literally I went through like 4 foot of mud earlier because I wanted to, because I live in Texas and I can. Like, no, it doesn't make any sense. I don't know why I did it, but I did it. And I can just, but I think it's an unlock when you realize, like, why am I thinking about my mom's response? My mom doesn't need a vehicle right now. My mom's taken care of, yo. Like, what? like, why am I thinking, like, why am I worried about, like, I'm the one without a car?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, and again, I love Gary's practicality because, you know, a Toyota 4Runner right now, if you lift it and put new suspension on it and new tire, you're looking at 50 G's. Bro, I don't have that. Like, I don't have anything close to that. But I have saved a little bit of money, and I have built good relationships with all the local banks in 25 years of working really hard. And I can find something within my means that will move me towards my goal. And I think that's what we sometimes forget is when we find out these new things about ourselves, we automatically go to, well, for you, for instance, the example would be, well, I want to be the Joe Rogan podcast. Bro, you're not there. Like you're in this small community. You're in this. I mean, this is kind of like what we talked about the first time, right? Like,
yeah.
But like, I'm coming back to it because you've done so much work now. You've put in so many reps for so many days, and I'm honestly impressed. But I think one of the reasons I'm saying this is because it's not just that you need to be around people. It's that talking to human beings in real life is another way to get people to listen and to get people to come on your podcast.
Yes, I agree.
Because I've met you and you just like doing this. You just like chopping it up. You just like shooting the shit. And that's real talk. Like that's it. And I personally, you know, think that there's a huge need for that. You know, they used to call it radio, you know, shock jocks. But all of those dudes were kind of assholes, if we're being real. You know, we found out like 8 out of 10 of them had a cocaine problem.
Yeah, exactly. Some type of issue.
You know, and so like, and but for me, so you and I are coming at this from the perspective of, I want to do this forever. I want to be kind about it, but I can't jump to the end and go, I want this $75,000 SUV.
Yes.
No, that's not. And also, I'm not going to be able to get the Nito Ridge tires right now. Yeah, like that's not in the cards. However, if I approach it the way I'm approaching posting on social, working out every day, having one meal every day that I make, I make it. And I've got 122 days under my belt. Tomorrow, today will be 123. And it's just, that's the only win that I'm worried about. So like I had McDonald's with my kid earlier. I'm not even worried about it, right? It's not often me and my daughter get to do that. So I went, we got McDonald's. I had a great time. I enjoyed it. I had the double cheeseburger. No, I had 2 cheeseburgers and I had fries and a medium tea. And this evening, I'm going to make rice, tomato, freshly grated cheese, avocado, and some ground beef.
Nice.
It's simple. It's clean. It makes me happy, like, so like, but I think that's a big part of it for me and you is like, don't beat yourself up when you do that, when you do the McDonald's earlier. Like, bro, you got kids, you got a life. Like, what do you mean? Like, I can't fix everything right now.
100%. Nah, I hear you.
So, I don't know. I'm just curious. What is that like for you? Have you found that recently that you're interested in a new thing, or has it been a minute since you've been like selfish like that?
I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, I feel like it's been a minute. I've been watching and Brofit right now. We've just been live since the beginning, and I've just been rolling through it. So we got Brofit, Knox Show. Everyone's in the chat also.
What's up,
and
guys?
What I've honestly been noticing a lot, and it's been with Brofit, and it's great that he's here. He goes live in the morning, and what I'm really missing is going to the gym. I used to go to the gym a lot, and at first it was something. It's like you mentioned, it was just something like I want to look good for the summer.
Yeah.
And it got to the point that at first when I went, it was like, let me just do 10 reps of this.
Yeah.
And then for the first week, it was just 10 reps. And then without really thinking about it, like I wasn't writing it down. I wasn't tracking anything. But then it went to the next week and I was like, you know what, let me go up to 20 reps and put up the weight a little bit. And then after like 3 days of that, it was like, let me go up to like 40 or 50 reps and and then it went from me focusing. It like totally switched because it went from me focusing on the goal of looking good for the summer to then out of nowhere it was like every day I just got to go to the gym because I'm just worried about doing a little bit better than I did yesterday. And it's like you're saying, like the more and more I went, like I used to always just smoke. I was always smoking weed.
Yeah.
And what happened is whenever I couldn't smoke, I was going to the gym and I replaced it with the gym. Or if not, if I was home and I couldn't go to the gym, I was doing push-ups. I was knocking out like freaking 400 or 600 something push-ups a day because every hour on the hour, I was knocking out anywhere from like 50 to 60 to 80 push-ups and just like, so whenever I couldn't go, I was just doing anything. I'll pick up dumbbells or I would go outside and do like pull-ups on the kids' like playground or whatever. And it became like my new vice. And the main reason I stuck to it wasn't even because of looking good or being in shape. It was the feel. It's like you said, like you get this feeling like you're sleeping a lot better. You're moving a lot better. You just feel more loose. You feel like everything is flowing more naturally and everything is working the way it's supposed to. And you feel more clear headed and you feel more like it's just, I don't know what it is, but it went from, again, everything, it just fell into place. And it wasn't like even like it was planned or nothing, but it went from me just working out to wanting to look good and then wanting to eat healthy. And then little by little, I just started doing it automatically without even a second thought, just because of the fact that's the natural thing you do when you're working out. You eat better and you try to focus on how many days you go to the gym and what you're working out and what. So that's the only thing, honestly, that's been becoming in my mind more and more, to the fact that I'm always watching people work out online and I'm always looking up different workouts that I could do for my neck and my back, just to not even to look good, but just to feel more better. And the more and more that I'm going down that, the more and more I'm starting to notice, like, you know, I sit there and I ask myself, why am I not doing it yet? And then everything is, again, it falls back into, I don't have the time and it's this and it's that. And then I start analyzing everything. I'm like, it was the same thing that happened with the podcast. And now literally, like, honestly, I don't even really have time for the podcast. Like right now, I'm so tight for stuff. Like what I'm doing for extra money is like DoorDash and stuff. So it's like right now is like the busy time. I should be doing DoorDash and Uber Eats and all this.
Yeah.
And it's like those little things I start noticing, like those sacrifices I'm making, I'm doing it for the podcast. And then I start thinking about it, like, I'm not even getting paid for this. I'm not doing. you know, you start thinking about those things and you're like, why? But at the same time, it's like you mentioned, like, I honestly really enjoy this. This is the only time I really have an interaction with somebody
Right.
other than being at work and bumping into coworkers like, good morning, see you later, have a good day, next week, whatever. Like,
Mhm.
I don't interact with anyone. And besides my kids, I don't interact with anyone my age. Like,
Mhm.
so it just becomes that thing where I start thinking of what am I gonna do to not lose my shit. And then again, it's like all the things just boil down to like I wanna be more fit. And it's not even for anything other than the
Yeah.
fact that I just feel like I'm getting older. You feel your body, you just feel all these things, and like, you know, you want it, whether it's the simplest thing of going to spend time with other people or trying to do something you actually want to do, you notice that, like, you just notice your age more. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you notice, like, I've been noticing my hairs. I'm getting more gray hairs lately. I'm noticing that before I used to be able to get up and just do it. Now it takes me a minute to get up, and I'm like, I can't move too fast today because last time, like, and it's those little things, as dumb as it sounds, it just,
Mhm.
it's not even about, oh, I'm getting old. It's just I'm realizing time is going by. And
So yeah, I'm 100% with you. I think that the thing I want to challenge you to do, though, or the thing I want to challenge you specifically to think about, and because I'm challenging you, you can challenge me right back. But like, look at it differently. Flip it. Instead of saying I should be door dashing right now. What has really helped me recently is, and I know I've said this before, so I apologize. I'm about to say it again. Writing down what I do each day. Okay, go on Amazon, or maybe when your kids, if they're going back into school, you can get a bunch of these notebooks for like $18 for like 40 of them. Okay, this is what they look like. Okay, I just write down every day what I did. Okay, and it started just writing the reps. So today I did 17 of everything. Tomorrow I do 18. And then it went further. It went to, so I did my reps, I did my workout. I picked lunch up for my mom. I ran something over to this other side of town for a coworker. I filled a different coworker's car up with gas. I worked out again, actually, and I cleaned all the dogs' kennels out, and I still made 3 pieces of art. And it was only 6 o'clock at night, bro.
see,
Like what I'm getting at is, I don't think I'm special. I think you're doing a lot more than you think. Don't write down what you're gonna do tomorrow. Write down, when you start a habit of writing down what you do each day. And if you can, keep a little notebook with you and just make notes as you go.
I've tried to do similar things like that, but I guess it's like you said, I don't notice how much I'm doing, and then I start over analyzing, and I start thinking maybe I don't need to do this, maybe this isn't important, maybe, because at the end of the day, I don't know what I'm keeping track of what I'm doing,
Uh-huh.
but I feel like I don't know. I feel like I can never really decide on a goal that I'm trying to reach. I feel like every day I have like this new goal that just keeps adding on top of the old one. And instead of me focusing on that one thing, I feel like every day, like an idiot without really noticing, I'm pushing the goalpost even more.
Uh-huh. I think that's because you're judging yourself.
That also.
I've been listening to Gary for 15 years, and this is the first time I'm doing a little better. And I'm happy for the people that listen to one video and get better. But this is the first time, like, I'm so grateful for this community for supporting my art, but I'm just going to say this out loud. The reason my art is good right now is because I don't give a fuck. I'm making good art that makes me happy, and when it's done, and I never think about it again until I interact with someone who likes it. This is the first time in 15 years I'm not judging it. Okay, like I'm gonna give everybody that's on your stream right now a sneak peek of the next drop. And this is crazy because I was so embarrassed to like even do this. I'm doing the whole alphabet, bro.
I love that though.
Like look at this. I got every letter in the alphabet.
I love that.
Okay. I felt so childish when I had the idea and like I broke it out, right? And I was like, what the fuck, Ben? Are people gonna buy this shit and put it in their kids' nurseries? That doesn't even make any sense. Like I felt like, like Zoolander or something.
You're bugging. I love it. I love it. I love it. I not looking at it. I either want to get an A or a D or something, but I love it. I love it. Or even a TR or like.
Yeah, no, that's So the A was the first one.
There you go. Obviously. Yeah, I love that, and I love the colors in the back. Like,
so, but I had the idea. I did it, and then I was like, "Shit, this is good. This makes me happy." And it was afterwards that the thoughts came, and again, the thoughts didn't stop coming. I just went and worked out instead. I noticed they were coming. Like, you're making nursery stuff. You're doing the alphabet. Like, what are your peers going to say? I just like, okay, I'm not doing this. I'm going to go work out. Like I'm not playing. It sounds so trite, but I'm not playing with myself anymore. This is dumb. I'm not just going to sit here and let my thoughts just take over something that I know is good. And the first person that I showed it to, I think they thought it meant I choose them. Like it says on it, each one of these, each one of my drops generally has like words. And the first one was I believe in you. And the second one was I'm enough. And then the VeeCon thing came up, kind of threw me off. I believe in you where you are. This one is I choose you. And I made an Instagram post a couple of days ago about it. And it just had like 10,000 words. It took so long to write out. But sorry, I got a little emotional thinking about it. I've always wanted to belong. And people think that's crazy because I'm like the oldest of 8 kids, so I have a huge family. And the homeschool network in Texas is like freaking massive. It might as well be like Friday Night Lights, but like, I never really felt accepted. I haven't really experienced a group of humans who didn't want me to do something else to fit in. So like, it was crazy, bro. Even when for a little while, I rode motorcycles, right? I bought a Honda Shadow, cruisers. And I thought like, this is going to be my jam. This is going to be my thing. You know what I mean? Like motorcycles, like Texas, like Rebels, like Sons of Anarchy, and I get about 2 years into it. And this gentleman says to me one day, I'm maybe 28, 29 years old. And he says to me, hey, you really shouldn't wear your leathers like that. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, it looks like, you're wanting to be part of a gang and this, that, and the other. And also, why are you supporting, why are you supporting countries other than America? And I remember I just sat there because I was riding a Honda. And I remember I just sat there looking at him for the longest time because I was raised to respect my elders. And finally, I just looked to the left and the Declaration of Independence was on the wall. And I looked back at him and I was like, because that says I can do whatever the fuck I want to. And I walked out and I never came back. And a couple years later, I quit riding bikes because they just kept saying, like, they just had all these, like, it was crazy. I thought like I was getting in with the rebels and they had more rules than the freaking church people did.
Yeah.
You know, like, and it was just like, you guys are making this no fun for anybody. Like, what do you?
It's funny that you mentioned that. I had a Honda Shadow also, and I converted it into like a bomber.
Yeah.
And I was gonna get all into that because when I was younger, I was a cousin of mine, a few of my cousins, they got together and they made a motorcycle group or whatever, or a little club. And of course, I joined as a prospect when I was younger. I didn't have a bike yet, and then that's how I got introduced to that world and everything. But it's like you're saying, it's something that you want to get into, but like when you really want to get into it as much as you do, or as often, even if it's just a ride, you notice that you're always running into some type of a person that has some type of an issue with something you're doing. And all you want to do is enjoy yourself, but at the same time, you understand the lifestyle and you're trying to be respectful. But then it's like, it's not worth the risk of the consequences of doing something wrong is not worth the stress and anxiety that you have of just trying to go out and enjoy yourself. So I understand where you're coming from with that. And it gets frustrating.
It just seemed like for me it was a repetitive thing no matter what I went into, you know, whether it was this or it was that, or it was just, there was always a gatekeeper standing there going like, hey, you're not good enough, you're not tall enough, you're not man enough, you're not white enough, you're not woman enough, you're not. And it was just like, dude, I'm gonna live my whole life without ever having a group of people like just say, hey, I like you.
Yeah, I hear you.
And so like but again, I've been in therapy. Like I'm working on me and I'm not really apologizing for it anymore. And I realized a couple months ago, like I think I said it in the mirror one morning after I'd finished my workout. I'd fed the dogs, I'd done everything, I'd taken my vitamins, and I was walking past the mirror and I like stopped and I smiled at myself. And I was like, you know, it's just like 5:45 in the morning, you know, and I was like, I choose you. And I walked off and I just felt better. It was like, bro, like I don't need, you know, like I can sit here and whine about it. I can think about it for another 100 days, or I can just pick me and move on. You like, and it sounds like, I know it's not macho as I'm supposed to be, and it's not, you know, but like, and so that's, I just like, you know, I'm gonna do the whole alphabet, and then the gold, you know, there's this old Japanese thing where they fill the cracks in the pots with gold. And so I decided to fill part of the skyline with gold.
Bro, you're bugging. That's a fucking, I love that. I really love that. I'm telling you, like, you're, for whatever it is that's making, even the people in the chat, like everybody else here thinks it's fucking fire, and they can't wait for it also to drop.
Nice. So there's this guy is not my favorite singer, but he is one of my favorite songwriters. There's this guy named Leonard Cohen. He ran around in the 70s and 80s, but he has a quote in one of his songs that says, there's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. And I think for those of us that like you were saying earlier, like you were a prospect, you were this, you were that, like you know, you did music for a while, you know, like for those of us that are on the dark side of the road, and that's, it doesn't really seem to be what we picked as much as just what we were born for. It's a good reminder, like there's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. Like with, you know, like it, we need those reminders that some of the things that break us open are what end up getting us to that group of people that's really our family, you know. And we need to remember that too, so that we don't end up being the gatekeepers for our thing.
100%.
Because you and I both know, man, 5 years from now, 8 years from now, you, Brofit, me, Tom, Nacho, we're going to be chopping it up. Shadow Jumper. We're going to be chopping it up. We're going to be somewhere, and some 20-year-old kid's going to roll up with no idea how to fit in. And we can either be kind and authentic and genuine, or we can be like, bro, here's the rules. Here's what you got to do. You got to do this. You got to do this. You got to post so many times on social media. You got to really care about your working out, your blah, blah. It's like, come on. Who got time for that?
Exactly.
Like, just like, it's exhausting just saying it.
Yeah, you're right.
So I don't know. I just I think you're hearing like it's just a lot of changes, and you know, some of them I don't know if they're gonna last. You know, and I think that's okay too. You know, you may I hope you get to come down before then, but you may get to come down to the Texas meetup in March. I don't have a specific day yet. I just know in March is when we did the first one. And you may go, hey, are you still off-roading? And I go, no, man, that never happened.
I hear you.
Like, that's okay. I think it's okay. Like, we have to give ourselves permission. But I may also say at that thing, like, oh, you're not going to believe this. I got this property I got to take you to. You got to see this view. You know, like, we have to give ourselves permission to try things and to look like an idiot, you know? I was writing, I hate to say, I feel like I'm saying like I'm starting so many new things and I don't want to bug people out, but my therapist asked me about a month ago to start journaling, and I have never had any luck journaling. Dude, I cannot journal to save my life. I probably have 10 journals right now. Started in 1998, 2003, 2007, 2013, 2017, 2021. Like, and they all of them have 5 pages just solid. And then nothing else in them.
I hear you.
Right? But I have a really good therapist, and she's been really attacking my excuses. And so I was talking to her like I'm talking to you because we're virtual, and she said, I really, really want you to try journaling. And I said, listen, you've asked me before, I can't. And then I went, I know how to do it. I'm not going to journal to myself because I hate talking to myself. I'm going to write a letter to a certain person. And I'm going to write a letter every day to that person, no matter where I'm at.
Gotcha.
Bro, it worked for me. Like, it's just a hack. I've journaled like 32 days in a row now.
Okay.
And I just start I just set that. And by the way, sometimes I don't do it in the morning. Sometimes I get to the end of the day and I'm like, oh, yo, what's up? I got to write a letter to that person. You know, like, that's my habit. That's my rule. That's my good habit. And I just start and I'm like, dear so-and-so, today fucking sucked balls. I hate everything. you know, like I hope I don't get you canceled.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah,
no, everything is explicit content on here. So if someone doesn't like it, you're in the wrong place.
But like, and then other days, it's like, yo, I haven't seen you in 15 years. I fucking miss you, yo. Like, it hurts, you know? I wonder where you're at, you know? And like, that's just real talk. But it's those type of things that I think stop us ordinary humans from making progress in our lives, because it doesn't look like Oprah did it. It doesn't look like The Rock did it. It doesn't look like Joe Rogan did it. It doesn't look like, you know, and it doesn't have to be on that side. It could be on the other side. It could be like, it doesn't look like Josh Courage did it. Or I'm not working out like BroFits is, so I'm not going to film it. And what I'm trying to get through to me And one of the reasons that I love talking to you is that when I talk to you, I'm going, man, I wish PR would film a 5-minute workout every day behind his van while he's waiting on his kids. Because like that shit's real.
Yeah, I hear you.
Like fuck this gym shit. Fuck this everything. Not I love BroFits, by the way. I have all love for BroFits.
I
BroFits
get, I get
one of the kindest humans and not at all a gym guy. But I'm saying like one of the reasons I love him is because he's doing that.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear where you're coming from.
I'm saying as ordinary people that don't fit in, if journaling for me looks like writing a letter, then the end. That's what works for me. If writing a letter doesn't work for someone else, then journal by all means. Is chat blowing up?
Yeah, Megan just popped in right now. She said, "I was at my own dad. Didn't tell me he's going to be on a podcast today."
She had her friends from Houston in. Why would I tell her anything? Oh man, she's.
But you know what's funny though is that you mentioned that, and I had this idea a long time ago, and then I recently started seeing it like float around again, and then I didn't think about actually like trying it until I swear until I started seeing you do your stuff with your drops, and I saw how you were doing something that you like doing, and you turned it into something, and you made something out of it, and like you weren't just doing something just to do it. You were doing something that you wanted to do, and it just happened to turn into this thing, and you just kept going with it.
Yeah.
And then I started thinking about the idea because again, like I started playing around with music, and my friend Eric was like, "Yo, why don't you just put out this stuff, all your old music you have sitting around?" And I'm like, "It's old." They're like, "Yeah, it's old to you, but it's new to everybody else. Like, not like a lot of people haven't heard it. A lot of the new people that are following you, they don't know nothing about it." And then again, I'm like, all right, yeah. Then I start overthinking because a lot of the lyrical content is stuff that a lot of people nowadays won't like, or a lot of like, you know, it's from our era. Some people will be like, okay, I get it. The younger eras, like, you know, and then again, what comes in my head, I'm a lot older. Should I still be doing this? But again, there's that side of me that's like, yo, I really don't care. Like, I just want to do it because I have the idea and I know it's a good idea. And I know if I do it the right way, it'll be pretty dope. And so I started having this idea that I've seen people like with these they're like little CD decks or CD cases or whatever, and you tap it to your phone and it automatically goes to the playlist of the song, whatever.
Yeah.
A little keychain of a little actual physical, and I thought it was pretty dope. It has like a little actual CD in it and everything, and I'm like, you know, no one actually buys physical CDs no more, so it'd be dope to do something like that and do like a little mini project or something, and like, or integrate it with the Web3 space somehow, where if they scan it, it'll give them a little POAP or something. I don't know. Like, I just started playing around with all these ideas, but again, it just came down to the fact that it's something that I enjoy doing, and it's me bouncing back and forth, and I'm overthinking about how people, it's like you mentioned with what you're doing with the new stuff you want to do with the letters and everything. And I started chopping it up into pieces. Like when I first had the idea, I'm like, yo, this would be dope. I know, I definitely know people would go for this and they like it and they check it out and they support me and all. I didn't know more and more time went on. I'm like, bro, how old are you? And you're still trying to do music. And then I'm like, you're going to make a fucking keychain. Who the fuck is going to get a keychain? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's things like that. And it started snowballing.
Yeah, but to go back, to take a few steps back, I did like 3 months of art. I did like 400 pieces of art that no one ever bought. Like I think Rarity Dale and Soggy were the only people that ever responded to my first like art stuff, right? Before I really hit, you know, they have some of the OG pieces before it ever popped off. So all those ideas you're talking about are good ideas, but you have to get it out there first. You have to go through the 4 months of losing and where only Soggy and Rarity Dale buy your little keychain thingy. But I don't even know that I would put the money into that. I think I would just, again, I go back to post one piece of content a day, make 5 stories a day, comment on 5 friends' posts about music, make 1 post a day about the podcast, 5 pieces of content, 5 comment, make 1 post about the working out beside the van, 5, I think the more you and I, especially overthinkers anonymous here, as we get into this, we notice that the thoughts go away and the action takes the place of it. Because to me, when I hear what you said, yeah, dude, I get it. I'm not confused. I rap a lot. I mean, I rap along to songs that you cannot say out loud today. But here's what I would do if I were you. Put out the songs and then make a diss track to your own shit. Say I'm too old for this shit. Say I shouldn't be saying this shit. Say I shouldn't be swearing like this. Say I got kids. Say whatever you want. One of my favorite rappers, rest in peace, Long Way. Fucking, like, I'm gonna play it for you right now. I don't really care. This guy broke my heart. We were supposed to meet, and then something came up, and he got shot a couple months later. Turns out his family lives on the block that the tattoo shop is on.
Wow.
And so I was outside smoking a cigarette. I had quit smoking for a while, and then I went back to smoking, and I was outside smoking a cigarette on the day of his funeral. That's another story, but and the limo rolls up, and his family gets out, and they say, "Are you Ben?" And I'm like, dude, I'm like shirtless, like smoking a cigarette outside my tattoo shop, And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, yo, we know how much Obi meant to you. We brought a signed CD by. We lived down there. And they were on the way to his funeral, like right then. Like it broke me, dude. Like I cried for like 2 hours. Like I couldn't believe they knew who I was. We never met. Like we were the same age. You know what I mean? But I want to see if you can hear this. I don't know if you'll be able to or not, but like, listen to this. This guy used to just do this in Houston 3 times a week on IG. This is what he would do right here.
I want to thank you. We never see each other, but it's cool. I know you're sending them changes. I met your son. He used to pick me up in the rain too. I thought about putting this picture frame on my chain loop. Sometimes I get ahead of myself and forget about you. And you keep on telling me I can never live without you. Oh yeah, my daughter growing up on me, she turned 4. I sound silly telling you all the shit that you know. But really, fam, why you keep blessing me for no reason? I sent you plenty messages, never thought you would read them. I even told niggas in jail that didn't believe me. They never seen hell, but believe it, they still breathing. And why these niggas hating so much? It's getting old now. I never thought my circle would change. I love my old round. Be better all broke with some loyal niggas around me. Cause they'll let you starve and get over if you allow it. Living like I got snakes and corpuses all around me. Niggas selling their soul, but I really come up from housing. A bunch of problems, some Porsche keys for the mileage, no shadow shit, living life with the people I had in all, but it's Lord.
That's deep. And
Bro.
you know what's even, you can hear, like, it's, I always say it a lot, real recognizes real. When it comes to music, like, it really gets you because of the fact that you can hear the struggle, you can hear the pain, you can hear the seniority. I mean, the you can just hear the real life struggle in that person when they're actually saying things like that, whether it's the beat or whatever it is. And that's why I really fall in love with music. So
And by the way, I go back to that. I posted that when he died. He got shot in Houston. I don't know who he got mixed up with, but it's not surprising, dude. There's like people don't understand how big Houston is, but anyhow, you're exactly right. You can hear the struggle. You can hear the authenticity. But I can also hear that overpass. I know the pine trees that are next to that overpass. Like yes, Houston is big, but what I'm saying is I have the same overpass in my town. I've stood under the same bridge he's standing. Like, I get it, you know? And so when someone speaks authentically, whether it be Long Way, whether it be PR King of Hearts, whether it be I'm learning to do this, iBenKind, it attracts people when you're doing what you're passionate about, and you're doing it because you're passionate about it, whether it works or not, whether it gets the views or not, whether you make money on it or not. So what I'm throwing out to you is, I want your podcast to make you a successful living one day. And let's say, I'm just going to throw this number out because it's absurdly low, but let's just say it makes you $42,000 a year. To people like me and you, that would be crazy. We still have to have a side hustle, but it would be crazy, right? To not have to go to work and be able to do that instead. However, if you're 75 years old and you're a janitor at the university, and you're still making this podcast and still chopping it up with iBenKind every month, and I'm 78 years old and I'm still over here tattooing with chopsticks, like, bro, that's a good life. Like that, like I think what we have to wrap our arms into if we're gonna level up is, that's a good life. If that's what we want to do. Like if it's not what you want to do, then don't do it, you know? But like, for me, that's what I'm realizing about this art thing, is that if I do have to go to work at Sam's Club, but I can make 3 pieces of art every night and keep doing a drop a month, like what? I'm happy. Like, if you go back and watch the first podcast with me and you, I don't smile with my teeth because I've been embarrassed of my teeth my whole life. I'm smiling with my teeth now, man. Like, it cracks me up because, like, I'll see a picture of myself that someone took and they're like, yo, I took this picture of you the other day. And I'm like, why did I have my mouth open? I'm like, because I'm happy. Like, what?
I love that though, man. And I've been noticing that more, not only just with you, with a lot of other people. They've been staying more consistent with what it is that they're trying to do with the things. Like, when you're in these things, man, like you're seeing the same people every day post up stuff. And there's people that, and I don't want to say this in a bad way neither, because I know it's not easy. It's hard to progress and to keep moving forward. It's not always easy. It's like you mentioned, you know, it's some people it only takes one video, and other people it takes them a few more. Some people get it the first try, some people have to keep trying. But the more and more that you see stuff and you consume what everyone's either doing or trying to do and putting out there every day, you start noticing the difference between movement and being progressively, you know, moving forward. There's people that just want to like show stuff every day, and it's like, that's what I feel like I'm doing sometimes. I feel like all I'm doing is posting and posting and posting, and it's like I keep comparing it to other stuff, but what I'm not doing is comparing it to me yesterday. And that's what I should be doing. I should be comparing it to my whatever I did last week or yesterday or whatever, and instead I'm comparing it to the other podcast and the other person and that's what's stealing the joy out of it for me. And I've been noticing that. And then that's why for like a while, for a few, I was in a lot of community chats and everything, and I jumped out of a lot of them because I noticed that every day the first thing I would do is I'd wake up, and before I would stay up and I'd go into the chats and I'd go into any of the streams, And even if I wasn't active in the chat, I'd overthink, because sometimes I feel like I try to be like part of like the group or the clique, and it wouldn't work. So I just like, let me just sit back and just, watch what's going on. And then it just got to the point I couldn't even do that because I'm trying to keep up with my regular job. And in the morning, the first thing I would see is all the stuff that I missed. And I see like so much good stuff is going on, and I'm like, I don't even have anything like that. I couldn't do that, or I can't pull in these many people, or I can't. So it's like I started knocking all these ideas or attempts of me trying to do something or wanting to do something because of the fact that I was comparing it to something else. And that right there was just, it was destroying whatever joy I did or was finding. Anytime I'd find any joy or happiness in anything I was doing, automatically I'd compare it to something, and then that was it. It was gone. The moment's over with. So I do get what you mean by that. And it's like, sometimes I feel like the more and more that time goes on, I start noticing that I'm not doing that as much anymore. At least I'm trying not to.
I don't see. Yeah, I could almost pinpoint it if I wanted to try. You're not. And the thing I would remind you is, society has lost its ability. We, our society, by the way, everyone in the chat, me and you, we've lost our ability to have conversations. Bro, hosting that is no small thing, but I'm going to be real with you. It's not going to be easy. There's a reason I'm making art instead of doing that. All I'm saying is, like, you're picking a hard road. It could be a winning road, but it's tough because of what you just said. Look, by the way, you should feel safe here. It's your podcast, but I did the same thing. I haven't been on a Josh Courage stream in 3 months. I haven't been on a To the Moon stream in 3 months. I haven't been on Curry Cards Whatnot stream in 6 months. I haven't been on a VFam session. They're doing stuff all the time. Brother, my life is falling apart.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Like, by the time I spend time with my kids, do my work, try to keep my business open, try to keep the IRS off my back, like, dude, I'm broke. I'm fucking tired. And sometimes I just don't have the bandwidth for it. I love those guys. When I went to VeeCon, like, I worked, the guys were gracious enough to let me sign autographs, which was a whole nother thing that was a lot of work. But I was grateful that they let me stay in their booth because I felt like I had a place. I didn't have to wander around everywhere. You know what I mean? I wish everybody the luck I have finding good friends. I mean, Tom and Jay are very kind people. Courage is too. He just was wandering and didn't have a booth. But like, I haven't been I haven't been in any of that stuff, and I felt bad. So I actually reached out. And I called Courage one day, and I called Tom a couple weeks later, and I just said, hey, I'm sorry. Like, I was a big supporter and member of this community, and now I'm not. And I feel really bad, but I have bad news. I'm not gonna be. like I'm doing the best I can right now,
I hear you, yeah. No, that's the way it's been with me. Like, I've reached out to a couple, even before VeeCon. I reached out to people in attempts of hey, Savvy, thanks for tuning in. Savvy's tuning in on YouTube. I was overthinking so much because I didn't want to seem ungrateful for the support that I did get, or what I was getting. So I was, I got to show up. But then the more and more I was showing up, the more I started noticing. I was like, you know what? What's different between these people and me? Like, what's making them successful? What's getting them to do all these collaborations? What's getting them to get, like, and it wasn't that I was doing it in a bad way. I was just, because the main reason I jump into all these things, yes, I want to support, but more importantly, other than anything, as selfish as it may sound, I'm trying to learn. So I feel like the best way to learn is to be in there, to be part of the the chat, to be part of the community, to learn and to see what they're doing and what people like and don't like and what works and doesn't work. And, you know, and at the same time, I'm learning about who these people are. And then I'm starting to think like, oh, maybe I can help them with this, or maybe like, so all these different things come into play. But the main thing is like, I want to learn how I could be as successful as they are. I would like to have some collaborations with some people. And again, it's not about the money. It's just when you're doing something for so long, you feel like you start reaching these little milestones of like followers, and then getting a subscription button, and then your first subscriber and all. Then you want to keep up with the consistency of it. But then other than that, when that plateaus and that stays there, you start wondering like, okay, what's next? Like, what's the next goal? If you don't have a goal or a target to go at, you feel like you're just running in place and there's nothing going on. And that's what I don't want to happen, because again, it's not even about me. What I start overthinking about is, I've had you on here, I've had Savvy on here, I've had like, you know, I never want it to be to the point where you guys look at it one day and you're like, oh, I went on there for what? Because what are they doing now? You get what I'm saying? So I think of things like that. Or I think of, okay, they've been doing it for this long and they've had these many guests, that it's really not going nowhere, because these people are doing something different over here and it's been moving along. And it's, so I think of all these things. And again, I just do it to critique myself in the way of like putting a little pressure on me. Like, all right, you got to step things up. You got to do things a little differently. You got to pay attention and read the room, and you got to, so it's like, but then at the same time, I also feel like I get a little bit too much in my head. And I just start coming up with excuses through comparison, and I knock myself down before I even do anything. Because it's like you said, like, yeah, all these things are great, but put it out there. You get what I'm saying? Like, do it, you know?
Yeah. But I totally understand where you're coming from, because for 10 years I said I wasn't making art, and I was. Like, I mean, that's been one of the hardest things. If it wasn't for the community, I would not have showed up to sign autographs. That is absurd to me. That does not make any sense on any level, right? No one should want my autograph for anything. I'm nobody from Texas. Like I don't know how to say that any different. But this community of humans, and it's not just VeeFriends, it's other people around VeeFriends, and I think you and I have got to get in. We've got to stay pushing ourselves into good habits. So maybe a question you could ask yourself is, am I being critical of this in a way that is going to create a good habit, or am I just being critical?
Sure.
Because as Gary would say, that's not you. Somebody else put that voice there. No human being criticizes themselves. And it took me a long time to actually believe him. But back to the autograph thing. Bro, I didn't want to do it.
Why not?
Because I'm not a big deal. I'm just a guy.
Nah,
I don't,
bro.
No, I know. I'm
what it is, you know, I get where you're coming from, but
right.
from my perspective, the way that I look at it, I get what you mean, because in your mind you feel like who am I? Like you feel like a dick kind of in a way, like, yo, here, let me sign, or like, you know, you should have this, or is this important? You gotta. So 100%. I get where you come, because it's like me, like when I used to do music, that this is the only way that I can compare to understand. When I used to do music, I wasn't big worldwide, but I was big here locally, because I was really young and I was the only person that was doing the things at that time that I was doing. Yes. I had my own music video. I was performing here and there. So it's like social media. Even though you're really not everywhere, you can make it seem like it's something bigger than what it really is. And it can either make you really big-headed, or you start realizing like there's certain things that you can do and take advantage of in a good way because of the way that people look at things, you know?
But what's interesting about it is for me, the way that I got through it, the way that I accepted it when To the Moon had the idea, is I said, I'm going to show up for my friends. My friends have asked me to show up, and I'm going to show up for my friends. And then fucking Jalem said he was coming. And then Savvy said she was coming. And then Shadow Jumper. And I was like, bro, all my friends, I can show up for my friends. That's not hard.
Yes.
You know, and so I was able to flip it from about me to about them. And then they did show up, and To the Moon also showed up and had a crazy busy booth. that was very, very, very way busier than anything else there. And I was able to meet so many people face to face, so many people in the real, spend a few minutes with the friends that I wanted to, but also I made new friends. You know, there's a lot of these people online who they come across one way. And I mentioned it in the video the other day, but Shadow Jumper, Jen, like, you know, I didn't know who this human being was. And then this woman who is my age approaches me at VeeCon and says who she is. And I'm like, no way. Like, this doesn't really match your online persona. And we just had the most authentic, genuine conversation. And it really moved me. Like, it was right when I needed it. And, you know, sometimes in those moments, you don't know how to say to another person, like, man, maybe you had me on your podcast to save my life. You know, maybe you came to VeeCon to tell me those words that I need, you know. And so I don't know. I need to start wrapping up. I was gonna flip the script a little here, and talk about Gary for a second.
Go ahead.
I didn't really know why I did it. But I signed up to get a photo with Gary again. You know, and I had kind of thought I wouldn't. You know what I mean? Like, I did it the first year, you know, it was cool and all, you know, like, yay, rah rah.
Yeah.
And I did it, and then dude, it was so hot. It was like right in the sun. It was so hot.
I can only imagine.
God, it was like, anyway. So you stand in line in the sun, and then they get you there, and it's a whole thing. And so, you know, we dapped it up, and he did what he always does, and I was able to genuinely connect with me in that moment. But what I wanted to kind of end on is, I said something to him that I genuinely wanted to say. And then he said something I had never heard before.
Which was?
And he stopped me. And like literally in the video, and I think I posted it on X, but I can't remember. I turn around and he says it again. And then I left. But here's the craziest part about me telling you this story. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm just going to piss the chat off. And
what the fuck? I'm pissed off. I feel like it was something personal. He's like, yo, tell PR.
No. It wasn't personal, but it was authentic and genuine. But here's what's crazy, and this is why I'm doing this. This is your clip. I think too often we give away what's meant for us. We have these moments. We have these really important moments in life. And we immediately give it to Twitter or X or a loved one, a significant other, a child. And it wasn't meant for them. The universe literally brought it to you.
Yes, I agree with you on that.
Brother, Gary Vee said something I've never heard before. Do you understand that could just be stay safe? Like calm down, okay?
Yeah.
But what I'm getting at is, I'm 45 years old, and I'm not going to tell you, and I'm not going to tell anyone.
Everyone is pissed off in the chat right now.
I love it. I think it's great, but I want this to get through. It was for me. It wasn't for X, and it wasn't for PR, and it wasn't for the Clock It Out podcast.
I hear you.
And it's not for V Friends, and it's not for anybody. And it is literally fueling me every day. And I think of Dumbledore often. Keep it simple, keep it safe.
Yes, I hear you.
All right. It's your show. What do you want to end on, brother? Because I love you so much.
And in all honesty, I think that's the best way to end it. I'm just happy to see you smiling more, man. You
Yeah.
seem a lot more happy, a lot more like loose, a lot more just I don't know how to say it. You're here. You get what I'm saying? And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just like over the time from when I first got to know you to when we first spoke, and like throughout this whole thing, like I've been viewing from a distance, and we always keep in touch here and there, but it's like I can tell you're growing, you're evolving, you're changing, you're turning into something else, and it's just been really great seeing it. It's been inspirational, it's been motivational, not only just you, every like from the people in the chat that everyone's here. You know, we have Nate that showed up, we have Nacho, we have Savvy, we have Brofit, everyone. Like I mentioned, we've been and Megan, your daughter Megan's in here also jumping in and out. And what I've been noticing is like, yes, I've been trying to keep in touch with everyone, but in more than that, it's just I've been noticing that you see people growing, you see the effort that they're putting into things, and it's just been, it just feels good. And it's like you mentioned, it's also good to see these people in person, and I've never been more anxious to meet all of you, you know. So it's just been giving me something different to look forward to, like besides for like the podcast. I used to be like, oh, I gotta try to make something from nothing, and now it's not even like that no more. Honestly, I just do it to have these, like, it's my excuse to have these conversations with you guys and to reach out with you guys and interact and all that stuff like that. But
for me, I figured I have 2 more times before you're too big to have me on.
I highly doubt that.
but also, I don't think the chat knows this. I'm gonna tattoo you. Yeah, I don't think the chat knows that.
No, they don't. I haven't said that, but that's gonna be it's definitely gonna happen though. It's definitely gonna happen.
I may have to send Ro to you so that you can both video the way back.
That's another thing. Also, I've been thinking about how I'm gonna work that out with Ro too, because that's another thing. I'm really anxious about that, because one, I know it's gonna happen. It is. Whenever it does, but I know it will happen. Yeah. But other than that, it's just, besides for the fact of meeting you guys and getting tatted up and everything, I like the excuse of being able to collaborate with Ro and get some ideas from him, and just get a better view of you and your life and what you have going on over there, and getting to know Ben better, you know what I'm saying, and your daughter. And like I've met all of you in some way, shape, or form through conversations and everything, and I feel like I know you guys already, but I know it's not the same as physically being there and meeting face to face, you know. So I'm for that.
It's I'm looking forward to it too. It's very different. The Texas meetup is going to be in March. Last year we just did it for like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So people wandered in anywhere Friday morning to Sunday night, Friday night to Sunday night, Friday night to Sunday morning to Saturday, you know, whatever works. I think we had about 22, 28, something like that. It was small enough. And I think that's what we're hoping for again, meaning 50 or under. And the reason for that is because honestly, about 9 o'clock, I shut the place down and I go to bed. Like, and it's not, but I'll be honest with you. I think Tom and Indiana, John Skolak, and a couple of other people, like, they went to a motel room and opened boxes for like 6 hours. and by the way, I don't feel like I missed anything. You know, like, so it's the kind of environment where if you and Ro end up wanting to shoot all night, you can.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like, and if someone wants to go back to the hotel, they're not going to miss anything. You know, and so it's a small enough group that people can interact and have deep conversations. You know, politics comes up, God comes up, relationships, and then there's a whole nother group of people where that stuff doesn't come up. They're just chilling, you know.
Nah, I definitely, I'm definitely going to make it to that. I'm definitely going to be more prepared and plan it out. Everyone here in the chat also is asking about it and everything. And so everyone, make sure you go follow Ben to stay up to date with that. Check out all his videos. He's always dropping like little Easter eggs in his videos with his brother and everything like that about what's going on with that. But But yeah, man, I just we got to just talk more. I'm
We
always
do.
busy. I know you're busy. Everyone always is. We all got a million things going on, but I'm always very appreciative when you take the time to reach out and respond and interact. And I'm grateful for it, man. Like I said, I don't have much interactions with people besides for going to work and seeing coworkers and stuff like that. So when I have moments like this, I appreciate it a lot. And I'm really beating myself up that I didn't go to VeeCon, man. I really wanted to meet so many of you, and
Well,
that's really been eating me up, honestly.
stop beating yourself up and just start working on March.
Yeah, exactly. I know, right? I got to get ready for that.
Set a couple bucks aside every week. But
Yeah,
hey,
definitely.
listen, I love what you're doing. You come to my mind far more often than I message you. I think you're doing one of the most important things that can be done in society today, which is facilitating honest conversations. And I think you need to keep going. I don't think right now. I haven't heard anything from you. I try to catch as many of your podcasts as I can. I don't catch all of them, but I will say I've never heard one conversation that I wish I hadn't listened to. So keep going, keep doing the work. I'm going to keep coming on as long as you'll have me. And yeah, I love you a lot, man. I hope you keep going.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that, man. And for everyone else who tuned in, thank you guys for tuning in and showing love. Make sure you go and give Ben a follow. Keep up with what he's doing. Go check out the next upcoming art drop that he has and go show his love to his previous work as well. And yeah, this has been another episode of Clocking Out. I love you guys. Stay safe. Peace.
Love you.